The crystalline corridors of Zenith Academy reflected the pale blue light of Kepler 442b's twin suns, casting prismatic shadows across the polished floors. Lisa pressed her back against the cool wall, her breath forming small clouds in the temperature-controlled atmosphere. 3 Vexalian students blocked her path, their chitinous exoskeletons clicking with barely contained aggression. "Lost human," the largest one hissed, his mandibles spreading in what passed for a sneer among his species. Lisa's fingers tightened around her data slate. She was the only human student in a galaxy-spanning institution that housed over 47 sentient species, and she'd learned quickly that being different made her a target. The Vexalians had been escalating their harassment for weeks, stolen assignments, accidental shoves in the gravity chambers, whispered threats in languages they thought she couldn't understand. She'd been patient. She'd reported incidents. She'd followed protocols. But the Academy's administration moved with bureaucratic slowness, and her complaints had vanished into the void of interspecies politics. "Move," Lisa said quietly, her voice steady despite the fear coiling in her stomach. The Vexalian leader, she thought his name was Krartek, advanced a step. His companions fanned out, cutting off any escape route. "Make us soft-skin. Your species shouldn't even be here. You're centuries behind the rest of us, primitives playing at science." What happened next occurred in the span of 3 seconds, but those 3 seconds would reshape the Academy's understanding of human evolution. Lisa's hand shot out, not toward the Vexalians, but to the environmental control panel embedded in the wall. Her fingers danced across the haptic interface with practiced precision. She'd spent weeks studying the Academy's infrastructure, mapping every system, every failsafe, every vulnerability. The corridor's gravity field inverted instantly. The Vexalians, whose species had evolved under 1.8 standard gravities, suddenly found themselves in 0.2 g. Their heavy exoskeletons, designed for crushing force and intimidation, became liabilities. They flailed, disoriented, as Lisa, who had trained in Earth's variable G combat simulators since she was 12, pushed off the wall with perfect control. She sailed over them, grabbed a ceiling strut, and swung herself into the adjacent corridor before resetting the gravity. The Vexalians crashed to the floor behind her, their shells clattering against the hard surface. But Lisa knew it wouldn't end there. She'd humiliated them, and Vexalian honor culture demanded retribution. Alex Chen found her in the hydroponics bay 2 hours later, sitting among the earth plants that the Academy maintained for her psychological well-being. He was the only other human within 3 star systems, a graduate research assistant studying quantum entanglement patterns in biological neural networks. "I heard what happened," he said, settling onto the bench beside her. The smell of tomatoes and basil surrounded them, a tiny piece of home 47 light-years from Earth. "They'll come for me again," Lisa said, staring at her hands. "And next time they'll be ready for gravity tricks." Alex was silent for a moment. At 28, he was 7 years older than Lisa, but he remembered his first year at the Academy with painful clarity. The isolation, the constant need to prove himself, the exhausting weight of representing an entire species. "Have you considered," he said slowly, "that maybe you've been approaching this wrong?" Lisa looked at him sharply. "You think I should just take it?" "No," Alex's expression hardened. "I think you should remind them why humanity earned a place at this Academy, not through individual tricks, but through what we actually bring to the table." He pulled out his own data slate and projected a holographic display between them. Neural pathway diagrams rotated in the air, impossibly complex, branching in patterns that seemed almost organic. "This is a Vexalian brain," Alex said, highlighting specific regions. "And this is a Thrin brain, and this is a Kelvorian brain." More diagrams appeared. "Notice anything?" Lisa studied them, her analytical mind, the same mind that had earned her admission to the galaxy's most prestigious academy at age 21, parsing the data. They're efficient, specialized. Each species has optimized neural architectures for specific types of processing. Exactly. Alex swiped to a new image. Now look at this. A human brain rotated before them and Lisa gasped. Where the alien neural structures were elegant and streamlined, the human brain was a chaotic tangle of interconnections, redundant pathways, inefficient processing clusters, evolutionary dead ends that hadn't been pruned away. "We're a mess," Lisa whispered. "We're adaptable," Alex corrected. "Every other species in this galaxy evolved to fit their environmental niche. They optimized, they specialized, but Earth threw everything at us. Ice ages, meteor strikes, supervolcano eruptions, mass extinctions. Our brains didn't have the luxury of specialization, they had to be ready for anything." He pulled up another file and Lisa recognized it as his doctoral research. "I've been studying problem-solving approaches across species. The Vexalians are brilliant at hierarchical processing. Give them a problem with a clear structure and they'll solve it faster than anyone. The Thrin excel at pattern recognition, the Kelvorians at spatial reasoning. But you know what humans do?" "We generalize," Lisa said, understanding dawning in her eyes. "We generalize, we improvise, we create solutions that shouldn't work but somehow do. It's why human engineers keep shocking the galaxy with impossible innovations. It's why our diplomats can navigate cultures they've never encountered. It's why you, in 3 seconds of crisis, reprogrammed a system designed to be fail-safe." Lisa stood packing among the plants. "So what are you suggesting?" Alex's smile was sharp. "I'm suggesting that KRR Tech and his friends have challenged the wrong human, and I'm suggesting that we show them, and the Academy, exactly what humanity means in a galaxy that doesn't understand us." The challenge came the next day, delivered through official channels. KRR Tech, invoking Vexalian honor protocols, had demanded a formal academic competition. The terms were simple: a multi-stage problem-solving tournament judged by Academy faculty, broadcast to the entire student body. If Lisa lost, she would voluntarily withdraw from the Academy. If she won, the Vexalians would be bound by honor to cease their harassment. The Academy administration, eager to resolve the conflict, approved immediately. "This is insane," Lisa muttered, reviewing the format. "It's not just me against KRR Tech. It's me against a team of 3 Vexalians, and the challenges span multiple disciplines." "Good," Alex said, "because that's exactly where you have the advantage." For the next 72 hours they worked, not on drilling specific skills but on mindset. Alex shared every piece of research he'd compiled on human cognitive advantages: flexibility, lateral thinking, the ability to draw connections between seemingly unrelated concepts. "Stop trying to compete with them on their terms," he insisted. "A Vexalian will always beat you at structured hierarchical analysis, but you can approach problems from angles they can't even conceive of." The competition was held in the Academy's Grand Amphitheater, a massive dome that could accommodate thousands of beings in various atmospheric conditions. Lisa stood on the human-compatible platform, acutely aware of the cameras broadcasting to every corner of the institution. Across from her, KRR Tech and his 2 teammates radiated confidence. Behind them, a significant portion of the Vexalian student population had gathered, their shells gleaming in the amphitheater's lights. The first challenge was quantum mathematics, calculating entanglement decay rates across multiple dimensional manifolds. The Vexalians attacked the problem with military precision, dividing responsibilities, executing their calculations flawlessly. Lisa took a different approach. Instead of pure calculation, she visualized the problem spatially, using humanity's strong geometric intuition. She didn't get the most precise answer, but she got close enough, and she got it faster. The second challenge involved biological systems analysis. The Vexalians struggled with the messy, redundant patterns of organic life, patterns that seemed inefficient to their optimization-focused minds. Lisa thrived. She'd grown up on a planet teeming with evolutionary experimentation. The chaos made sense to her. The third challenge was where everything changed. The faculty presented a scenario: a failing colony ship, multiple cascading systems failures, limited time to prevent catastrophic loss of life. It required simultaneous consideration of engineering, biology, sociology, and probability theory. The Vexalians approached it systematically, prioritizing by logical hierarchy. But the problem was designed to have no clean solution. Every choice had cascading consequences. Lisa stared at the data for 30 seconds. Then she did something that shocked everyone in the amphitheater. She changed the question. "The scenario assumes we're working within existing ship systems," she said, her voice carrying across the dome. "But colony ships carry raw materials for planetary development. If we repurpose the terraforming equipment, we can create a makeshift external life support system. It's not elegant, but it works." Silence. Then one of the judges, an elderly Thrin professor, began clicking her breathing spiracles in what passed for applause among her species. "The human student has identified a solution outside the defined parameters," the professor announced. "This type of creative reframing is precisely the kind of thinking that saves lives in actual crisis situations." Krrtek's mandibles worked in frustration. "That's not following the rules." "The rules," the Thrin professor replied gently, "were that you solve the problem. They did not specify the methodology. The human has solved it, have you?" The competition concluded with Lisa's victory, but what happened next mattered more. The footage of the competition spread throughout the academy, and then throughout the wider galactic academic community. Professors began incorporating human-style lateral thinking exercises into their curricula. Students from dozens of species approached Lisa, curious about human cognitive patterns. And Krrtek, bound by the honor codes he'd invoked, approached her 1 week later. "I underestimated you," he said, his translator rendering his words with unusual humility. "I thought humans were weak because you're not specialized. I didn't understand that your lack of specialization was itself a specialization." Lisa considered him for a moment. "We're not better than you," she said finally. "We're just different. Every species brings something unique. That's the whole point of this place, isn't it?" The Vexalian's antennae twitched, agreement, in his species' body language. "Perhaps your people will teach us something after all." As he walked away, Alex appeared beside Lisa, a satisfied smile on his face. "They cornered a human student," he said quietly, "and the Academy learned what humanity really means. Not dominance, not superiority, just a different kind of strength." Lisa looked out across the Academy grounds, where dozens of species mingled and learned from each other. "Think there are other humans out there who need to hear this?" "Probably thousands," Alex said. "Humanity's still new to the galactic stage, still figuring out where we fit." "Then maybe we should write this up, formally, show them the research on human cognitive adaptation." Alex's grin widened. "Now you're thinking like a scientist." Together they walked back toward the research labs, 2 humans among thousands of aliens, no longer isolated but integral. The galaxy was vast and filled with species that had evolved in ways humanity never would. But Earth's children had evolved in their own way, messy, adaptable, endlessly creative. And in a universe of specialists, sometimes what you needed most was a generalist who could look at any problem and ask, "But what if we try something completely different?" The Academy had learned its lesson, and across the galaxy, wherever humans ventured, they would carry that lesson with them. Underestimate Earth's children at your own risk.